So I want to be honest with everyone. I suck at RPGs. Yeah, I know, it's pretty shocking. You think my love for games would allow me to be good at them, but nope. Every time I try, I fail miserably. So that pretty much gives the indication of why my exposure and my love for Pokemon came from the anime and not from the games. Not to say that the anime was the first Pokemon thing I saw. Actually, my brother was a fan of the trading card game, even having a share of rare cards. He also decided to buy me a Game Boy Color with a copy of Pokemon Crystal. While I did play it, I never got into it purely because of the gameplay. However, I did constantly watch the series when it was on both Kids WB and Cartoon Network. The Pokemon franchise came to America in 1998, so I would have been 3 years old when the series started. I didn't get into the show until 2002. My brother did say that he took me to go see the first movie in theaters, but I have no memory of that. That's enough of my introduction to the franchise, so let's move on to the show. A young trainer named Ash, or Satoshi, wants to become a Pokemon master. It's there that Professor Oak gives him a Pikachu. After a rocky start, they eventually bond and become the best of friends. They go on adventures together with a group of friends, battling in gyms, helping others in need, and collecting every Pokemon they can find, because, you know... Gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all! Oh yeah, and there's also Team Rocket, who they have to deal with all the time. So I understand Pokemon still has a fan base for the games, but not so much for the anime, as it's often criticized for its repetition and lack of character development. It's a Pokemon of the Week type of show. The main characters find a Pokemon or have to part ways with it or fight in stadiums. And yeah, the characters are pretty static. They learn some lessons but forget them afterwards. While I can understand where they're coming from, I do have to say that even for its repetitive nature, there are some standout episodes. The first one in mind is Snow Way Out. The first time I saw that, I really thought something terrible was going to happen to Ash while dealing with the blizzard. He does get help from his Pokemon, but he realizes that it may be best if they stay in their Pokeballs. Pikachu, of course, doesn't want to and just wants to stay with his trainer and even endure the cold with him. His other Pokemon do the same and they almost die together. Back then, I had no idea what was going on, but upon revisiting it years later, it's pretty intense and depressing of what could have happened. The same can be said about Bye Bye Butterfree. It starts out like a romantic comedy, with Butterfree trying to find a mate. Then Ash realizes that he has to let it go and say goodbye. Many consider this the most emotional episode of Pokemon, and yeah, they're right. I still get teary-eyed over this. Lastly, the Pokemopolis episode was the one I remember so much because of how bizarre it was. It's an episode involving a group of Pokeologists. Yeah, I know it sounds lame, but stick with me. They discover a big city known as Pokemopolis that has a giant-looking Pokemon that have mystical powers, and the only one who can stop them was a giant Jigglypuff. Yeah, this episode was so insane that I had to mention it. It definitely stuck with me for a while, and rewatching it only made me like it more. On an additional note, the movies are popcorn entertainment. If any of the movies ever get released in theaters, even for a limited release, you bet your ass I would go see it. And if there was ever a chance the first 3 films get a re-release, I would be so on board with that. Especially if it's going to have the uncut original Japanese releases. Overall, I get the hate that some people had for the Pokemon anime, and most just like to play the games, but I still enjoy the silliness and I can't help but feel nostalgic for most of it. I especially like the recent one with the new main lead. So yeah, I got a soft spot for this series and it looks like I won't be disliking it anytime soon. So remember to always...